Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Zach Katkin. I'm the CEO of Olympia Marketing. We're a marketing firm down in Southwest Florida, Estero to be exact. And what we do is help our clients dominate in marketing, in advertising, no matter what their market. And we're a digital first focused firm, as I like to say. Today, we're going to be talking about a client of ours called the Skincare Academy of Florida, a really cool upstart esthetician school, beauty school, teach people how to and give licenses out to students for students that are in the esthetician business. They've also just opened up a massage school. And what I wanted to do is go over a number of things. First, where we started with them, what we did originally, and then how the relationship progressed over time, and the results that we were able to provide for them on an ongoing, continual basis. I will say that basically this business, I'm proud to say, would be completely non-existent weren't for us and what we implemented, the strategies we implemented for them. And it's another unique case in that we kind of worked hand in hand with them with the founder here, Laura LaRusso, who's a good friend of mine. I've known her many years. Great woman. So she had some resources, she had a videographer she worked with. She had the corporate ID done by a friend of hers. That had to change because of some circumstances that were unique in this case. But, so let's get started, right? So this website originally was developed in Squarespace, and I'm going to pull up in the back end here the Webmaster Tools, or Search Console used to be called Webmaster Tools, but we're going to take a look at what we've been able to provide for them really over the last year. We've been working with them for quite a while now. And let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Let's leave it there. So we started working with them, and they launched their website. So this is a little bit of a complicated case because this website was originally developed on Squarespace. So we came in, and you can see here, this was done by the client on Squarespace. And then we engaged with them back around January of this year, late January. And then, Laura said basically, hey, you know what? We've officially launched. We really need to, was that this year? I thought that was last year. Yeah, I guess it was this. Oh, well, okay. So let me retrace. So this is an extra complicated case because they had an old domain name. And unfortunately, I don't know if I still have that. What was the name of that? Spa Academy Professionals. Yeah, I did remove that. Okay. So they had a website that they had developed that looked almost identical to this one, that was developed in Squarespace, for their basic $20 a month plan. And we came along and optimized that website. So we can't see the full picture. We've been working with them for a bit longer than the last 6 months here. But you can see once we started and completed our initial SEO efforts, how much things skyrocketed. I mean, we literally went from, I would say, an average of 5 to 10 people a day, maybe 75 people a day as far as impressions on Google. And we just skyrocketed right away, 4 or 5 times that immediately. So one of the first things we did was we took their Squarespace site and optimized it, right? Little stuff, right? You do, and maybe I'll do a video on how to optimize a Squarespace site. I think that would be beneficial. It's something that we do, a lot of. I've now done this for 5 or 6 different sites. In fact, the next video I was planning on making is a client that is on Squarespace as well. That we just, absolutely, an insane increase in traffic just by doing some very modest things with Squarespace. So, excuse me. So we launched the web that optimization, saw a giant increase in traffic, and have kind of continued on. So in addition to, let me pull up their analytics. In addition to SEO optimization, a big part of what we've done as well is run an AdWords campaign for them. And we've been doing that for, the better part of a year. This is absolutely, it's 95% of the way they get business is through their website, both organically as well as through pay-per-click marketing or AdWords, right? So if we look at traffic over time, I'm just looking in their analytics account. And again, we're going to see something a little bit weird because obviously this isn't the domain that they've had this whole time, but we will see. Actually, let's do this. Let's compare. Let's do last 90 days. And we're going to compare. Let's see if that'll do it. Google search. Yeah, that's a little better here. So, again, these numbers are going to be a little bit awkward in this case because let me make this bigger and let's expand this out so we can cover the whole screen. Because of various things that happened. So we did a big paid search push. Let's look at month instead. Where you can see one of the big differences is the paid search has dropped. We ran an experiment for a couple days with a performance max campaign, which did well, but it just wasn't, the client preferred more stable, ongoing, even if it was a higher cost per conversion ultimately, for actual students coming in, right? So probably best place to start here is with this school. So the school is based in Bonita Springs. They're an esthetician school. They started out as an esthetician school, have been operating, I want to say, for the last 18 months. And they train people who are interested in becoming estheticians, i.e. people that can give facials, right? The coursework is very interesting. It's very fast-paced compared to a normal school because they only do esthetician classes, right? So their classes are unique in that a lot of beauty schools will combine different services and licenses. They'll combine, hair care, facial stuff, i.e. esthetician stuff, and other things. They'll bundle them together, and you'll have to go to school for a full year or half a year. In this case, you only are there for 3 to 4 months. So it's a very fast-paced, only esthetician school. Now, they have also opened up a secondary school, same facility, but for massage, and it's only a massage program, and obviously that's a whole different curriculum and everything. But so that's one interesting thing here. It's very fast-paced curriculum. Next, they've got an absolutely gorgeous facility. The owner, Laura, has done an excellent job kind of just from the ground up styling this, making it a school that's very intimate and attractive, somewhere you would want to go to, and mirrors a spa facility in its presentation. Very relaxing, very comfort focused. It's not a cold, sterile classroom like I've seen with others. They do also full career business and marketing training as a part of their program. In fact, Laura herself is literally writing the book on kind of the modern, updated 2024 and beyond esthetician curriculum. I'm not sure if it's going to be for the state of Florida or for possibly the whole country. She's literally working with one of the major school educational publishers to create this, which is really awesome. Super small class sizes. They are a Eminence Organics partner, which is really nice, really high-end quality products. So all the students, they get to use only the highest end products that are available in stores or in spas today. And they also have both day and night classes. I believe they run all 7 days a week. So they're very, very flexible in that regard. They're constantly running classes. I think they can have up to six classes night and day, a full year. So there's always a time within, a couple months that anybody can start, right? So Laura came to me and said, hey, what can we do to increase admissions? Well, I've got this space. I spent, tons of money, tons of time designing it. I've got everything set up for the business. What can we do to make sure people are walking in the door, calling us, emailing us, asking to be a part of this school and signing up? So the very first thing I did was assess where the company was at, and then we put together a plan. That initial plan was simply two things. One is AdWords, which the client in this case was already doing, but they didn't know exactly what they were doing, as well as optimize the existing website. So take over the Squarespace site and make some tweaks. So very quick, easy, not a big, not a big set of tasks. And within about a month, everything was done. And in the following month, we saw, as you saw a minute ago, a very big increase in traffic, a very big increase in our exposure on Google. And that's just continued to climb. In fact, in the last, let's do 28 days over 28 days. In the last, it's a little more than a month, but for ease of use while I'm doing this video, in the last month, so the client came back to me and said, well, I have plans to extend this business and grow. We've now opened up this whole massage program. We want to open up some additional programs. What can we do? So what we decided to do is transition to WordPress, which is my preferred website platform. So essentially rebuild the existing website on WordPress, implement a shopping cart, do additional SEO, additional content marketing, so ongoing blog posting, add a whole other category to their AdWords. So now they weren't just going after people looking for esthetician schools, beauty schools, how to learn how to do facials, that kind of thing. Now they wanted to, because of their new adjacent location, so they opened up a space right next door for just their massage school. So we incorporated all of this into the website. So now underneath their programs, they have the full esthetician program, their massage program, and then, of course, their continuing education programs, which are for existing licensed estheticians who need to take, continuing education courses to remain licensed, and that's all done online, right? And as I said, 95%. So if we look here, they use a third-party system, so they use GoDaddy in this case. We're probably going to simplify everything and move it all towards one system. Right now, they use a combination of like 4 or 5 systems. It's very complicated. Basically, the owner, as she was doing things, just moved through and signed up for stuff very quickly, set things up very quickly. It's not all unified. So again, first step was evaluating where they're at today, or this was, a year ago, where they were at in the moment. Made some updates, tweaks, got them a tremendous amount of performance as far as SEO and pay-per-click were concerned. About 6 to 9 months later, again, hey, we're expanding. What do you recommend? What can we do? Also keeping in mind, we want to grow the business, right? We already are growing the business. We have a new program that we offer, a new service, a new essentially school, the massage school. And how can we unify things, as well as we actually ended up making a recommendation. They're now using our esthetician school, beauty school CRM platform, which we have custom designed. It's both an app as well as a web interface where both Laura and all of her employees can go and manage their students, manage their transactions, stay in touch with them. There's drip campaigns for if somebody comes along, has some questions, wants to do a school tour, they can do so. And then once that person has been applied to the school tour category in the back end, it will automatically follow up with them and drip on them and say, hey, we know we met with you. We'd love to have you as a student. Tell us what we can do, kind of thing. So it's basically an automated marketing and salesperson tool. So at the end of the day, if we look at, let's do a deeper dive into what's going on. So what I've been amazed at is from Squarespace to WordPress. I've always loved WordPress because it allows a ton of flexibility. It's easy to use. Clients don't often love it, but the way we have implemented it, we're now using Elementor. So it's basically as easy and as drag and drop as your average Squarespace site, but it's infinitely more extensible and much more easily extensible, so you can add to it much easier. You can see and this is considered off-season for us, but in these numbers a little bit more exaggerated if I were to take it to that 45-day period, not just 28 or 30 days. You can see here that the number of clicks has gone up 25%. The number of impressions, and this is all organic, has gone up, 30%. So moving to WordPress, and I've noticed this a couple times now, from Squarespace specifically, as well as from Wix, has a tremendous impact on SEO. Google seems to really respond to that, to WordPress-based websites. And what's really cool here is that we're actually ranking really well. So if we pull up rankings here, like Esthetician license in Florida, it's a very authoritative search, right? The companies that come up for Esthetician license in Florida are probably, authority figures in this space. And sure enough, we come up as like number 3, number 4. And then obviously, so this is the number of clicks. You're always going to see more clicks for a statewide search than you would on a local search. But across the board, as far as beauty school, esthetician school, facial school, learn to do makeup, learn to do waxing, et cetera, we're ranking really, really well. And I think if we do, let's do a search for massage school Bonita Springs, you can see right away, here's a beautiful ad. Here's a picture of the founder at their open house, which was really nice. They're number 1 on Google Local, which is fantastic. And then where are we on organic right now? Okay, we're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're number 6, which, I would like to see that higher. Obviously, I want to be number 1. I think we will be in a short amount of time. But we just launched. These updates that we made to the website, we only made for the massage school specifically, we only made a couple weeks ago. So that's great to see. Another thing we have implemented for them is local SEO. So we are both guiding them on their Google My Business profile, as well as we have a tool that we use to get them name, address, phone number, NAP listings or directory listings to help push this to be number 1. And what's really nice here, if you're an esthetician business, esthetician school, massage school, whatever you are, you can always reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. But one of the most important things that you can do is manage your profile, but also get reviews. There is nothing more important. I'd say it's on par with the website these days than managing your Google My Business account and having more reviews than your competitors, right? You can see here that let's see, this is definitely a school right here. This is another school right here, but they're not paying attention or as much attention to their reviews. This is pretty amazing. It's a little bit further south, but this school has 166, and yet we're outranking them, which is good to know. So, like I said, I think I don't want to go into the details about how much business they do, but I will say they've expanded in less than 18 months from just an esthetician school to now a massage school. So they're they're growing very, very quickly. In fact, there's another thing opening, which I'll kind of keep quiet on. You can view it on their website if you want to take a peek, but something very interesting that the owner has been working on for some time that I think is going to do really well, integrates with their business and provides a super valuable service to their graduating students. But long story short, this is, it's a 7-figure business, 95% of which has been, provided as far as student enrollments via the online space. So if you're an esthetician, if you're a salon business, especially if you're a beauty school of some kind or esthetician school of some kind, I highly, highly, highly recommend, 95% of all purchases, especially higher end services like, enrollment for a vocational school like this are going to happen online, right? In fact, we've even implemented a full shopping cart with both Klarna and PayPal so that students can come, even if they can't afford the full tuition, they can pay for it over time. It's the only solution I've seen to that outside of I think it's a Title IV school, with much larger schools have access to, both scholarships as well as financing. Financing in the vocational school industry is very, very difficult, ironically, even though, a lot of careers and positions, I think, are moving towards vocational schools as opposed to conventional 4-year degrees. So we've been super successful. We continue to grow even the last 30 days. As you can see, we've already had 25% increase in essentially the slow part of the year. The curve is just continuing up for such a small, it is location based, but what we found is that students are absolutely willing to drive, 20 miles or more if they're passionate about the school and they find that the school is of high quality curriculum, etc. So with our AdWords campaign, we really target, the full 2-county region down here in Southwest Florida, which has been phenomenal. Within one day, we had multiple signups on the massage school, which, at $10,000 or so a piece, that's a phenomenal return for, essentially maybe $100, $200 worth of ad spend, plus some management, plus everything else that went into crafting the website, etc. It's a holistic thing that I like to look at over the course of the year. But we're definitely right in line with that 6 to 10% of your overall revenue being spent on, high quality converting marketing. That's about where we would be overall. So that means if you're a $2 million esthetician or beauty school and you want to get to $10 million a year, and this is considering you have the market for this, right? That would be an increase of about $8 million in business, or about 80 additional students, right? So in order to get that, what would that take? And with us, that would probably be in the 6 to 10% range. So if you want $8 million in additional business, it's probably going to cost you around, a couple $100,000 to get that amount of business. Sorry, 800 students, right? Let me do the math on that. I don't want to get the math wrong, y'all. 8 million divided by, let's say the average price of everything, 9,000. Yeah, so you're going to need about 900 additional students, right? So what I'm seeing right now, we're doing it on the very low end in the case of this client, but I would expect, you to pay probably about $750 per new student. So, overall with the whole strategy and AdWords, etc. And we're looking to probably take this nationwide in some sort of franchise model. Maybe have some official extra, other schools that we open up. But it's looking bright, and we are really honored. I'm honored to have been, part of this and working with Laura. And I think we're going to be the sky's the limit with this. So I will say, if you need anything, if you have any questions, if you're an esthetician, a salon, a beauty school, esthetician school, etc., and you want to pick my brain, just go ahead and shoot me an email. My email is Zach, Z-A-C-H, at olympiamarketing.com. Always happy to answer any questions. And if there's anything else that you need, always leave a comment. I'll be, manning the comments. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this, for dealing with my kind of crazy hair tonight, and take care. Bye.